Today on Ridge Roamer, I'm going to go over my thoughts after some hands-on with the 2022 Indian Chief. Some of the details here today on the differences in the different models and my thoughts after getting some hands-on with the 2022 Chief. It's supposed to be halfway between the Indian Scout and the heavyweight Indians such as the Vintage and the Springfield. So for some, the heavyweight Indian's just a little bit too big. For some, the Scout's just a little bit too small. So Indian is hoping that this new 2022 Chief will hit that sweet spot in the middle for people looking for a big power plant and a good sized bike without being quite as large as the current big bikes and without being quite as small as the Scouts. So at first glance, there's a few things that stand out to me. It definitely looks more like a Scout. There's three main reasons why it looks more like a Scout. One is just the overall fact is how stripped down it is. Headlight, for example, does not have a nacelle on it. There's no fairing or anything, so it looks very reminiscent of the Indian Scout. When you get to the exhaust, same thing there. It's a dual exhaust, but they're both on the right-hand side, so it looks again very similar to the Scout versus the heavyweight lineup where they're dual exhaust, one down each side. The third thing that makes it look significantly more like a Scout is the dual exposed rear shocks versus the single monoshock hidden under the rear seat on the heavyweights. So that's three main reasons why when you look at it, it definitely looks more like the Scout. When you sit on it, it's a more substantial feel without getting into the bulk and the weight of the current heavyweight platform. So there's a few different things that are definitely taken from some of the other bikes. The turn signals are directly off of the Scout bobber, or at least appear to be exactly the same, with the dual integrated stop turn signals on the rear and then the fork mounted turn signals on the front. All LED, no reason to go out on a limb and create something different here. What they use on the Scout bobber works perfectly, and I'm happy that they used those. Getting into the headlight again, exposed headlight bucket looking more like a Scout, but they went ahead and upgraded to the full LED headlight assembly, same as they use standard on the FTR series, and is an accessory item on the Scouts. So that's a nice upgrade on the front end for lighting as well. The engines and transmissions are obviously from the heavyweight platform using the 111 or the 116 cubic inch engine, depending on which version that you get. Getting into the versions, you've got the Chief, which uses the tall, skinny front tire, so 19-inch cast wheel, and then mid controls for your feet. They use a peg. When you go up from the next model, up from the Chief would be the Chief Bobber. The Chief Bobber uses the 16-inch spoked wheel with that kind of shorter, fatter front tire, and then also changes to a forward control foot peg, as well as upgrading to the Mini Apes for the handlebars. And then when you go beyond that, you go to the Super Chief, and the Super Chief comes standard with windshield and saddlebags as the most obvious changes, but then also comes with a more standard cruiser handlebar and the same floorboards that you would find on the current heavyweight bikes such as the Vintage and the Springfield. What I love the Indian's doing is that you've got a good mixture of possibilities on how you want your bike set up, and a good starting platform to be able to modify from there. So for each of those 3 bikes, then you do have a premium level. So the base version is going to come with the 111. On the Chief, you upgrade to the Chief Dark Horse, which does get you more blacked out features, but the big change is the upgrade from the 111 to the 116 cubic inch engine. And then you're also going to see a change from the analog speedometer to the full digital 4-inch ride command system, which is absolutely phenomenal. On the Chief Bobber line, you upgrade to the Chief Bobber Dark Horse. Again, same changes. You upgrade to the 116 cubic inch engine, and you upgrade to that 4-inch ride command system, along with a couple other minor changes. And then on the Super Chief, you go to the Super Chief Limited. The Super Chief Limited, bigger engine, 4-inch ride command system. So really good options for how highly spec'd you want yours. Some people prefer a more simple analog type display. Some people want all that technology, so you've got your options there. Other items taken from the Chief lineup, your switch cubes, the keyless fob, all your kind of rider interface there, the grips, that type of stuff is all from the heavyweight lineup, so will be very familiar to those of you that are used to Indian's current heavyweight bikes. Getting into the ride command system, very similar to what you're going to find in the Chieftain and the Roadmaster today, as far as the capabilities to see all of your speed, your gears, your service information, get into the diagnostics of the motorcycle, full GPS capability. It's got the Bluetooth capability, so you can control your phone, stream music, that type of stuff. Also has the capability to make and receive phone calls if you have the integrated Bluetooth system in your helmet with the microphone. And then also includes the ride mode, so you can choose between the Tour, Standard, and Sport on your fuel map to change how the bike responds to your inputs. Now we're going to get into the top 3 things that I love about this new platform, and the 3 things that kind of fall short or they're missing the boat on in my perspective. So the first thing is the variety. I absolutely love this platform for the capability to run mid-control pegs, forward control pegs, or floorboards, all the different handlebar options that they're including as an initial offering, as well as the capability to have the analog basic speedometer or upgrade to the full 4-inch touchscreen, as well as the adjustment there with your engine output size, the 111 or the 116. So they nailed it on having the variety on one single platform to be able to set your bike up however you want. I'm also a big fan of this 4-inch display. I mean, this is a game-changing display. This is going to be the new industry standard for a compact digital display to be able to control everything, see everything about your bike, make changes to the layout. Absolutely phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about it. Hopefully they'll include it in the future as an offering on the Scout for an upgrade, but this is absolutely incredible display. And the third thing is the aftermarket and customization aspect of this bike. The way they've set up everything about it, when you look at this thing in detail, from the suspension to the brakes to the frame to the body work, people are going to go crazy on this platform, and you're going to see some absolutely incredible builds. I'm looking forward to some awesome performance machines, some beautiful show bikes, and bikes that just handle amazing because they've been upgraded to do so. Now, the things that it kind of fell short on in my perspective. The first one is actually a really easy one to change. I'm disappointed that there's only one option for fenders. I love that short bobber look fender, but I wish, like on the Scout, they had a longer, more sweeping fender similar to what you get on a Scout platform or on a Chief Vintage. especially on a bike like the Super Chief that's set up for some light touring with the windshield and bags. I would have liked to see it come standard with a more full fender, or have that as an accessory option for any of the bikes that want a little bit better protection. A lot of people ride, you know, in inclement weather, a lot of rain. I'm just afraid those short fenders aren't functionally going to be what some people want, and style-wise as well, I think they're going to fall short of what some people want. So I'd love to see another fender come on the market as an accessory to kind of give it that more traditional Indian sweeping fender look. The second thing that I'm not sure about, but I completely understand why they do that, this is actually the first motorcycle offering from Indian under the Polaris umbrella that uses a full tube frame. What I mean by that is all of your current heavyweights, your FTR, your Scout, they all use the engine as a structural member. So the frame attaches at the front, it attaches at the back, goes over the backbone, but there is no frame underneath the engine. This has always been one of Indian's advantages, to get the seat height, the center of gravity as low as possible, and this new Chief has a standard tube frame that goes underneath the engine. Like I said, I understand why they do that. You're going to get a lot of stunt type builders that are going to take this bike and really thrash it. So I think that full tube frame is going to give you better rigidity, more substantial, and give them a stronger bike overall. But it is interesting to see Indian depart from what they're known for in their engine and frame design. And then the third thing, I had to reach here. I'm getting really nitpicky. The last thing that I didn't really like about the new Chief platform is the location of the battery tender plug. Again, very nitpicky, but they're using that round capped one that they started using on the 2021 heavyweights, but it's mounted completely under the bike, underneath, basically right in front of the rear tire. So there's nothing you can do except get down on your hands and knees wherever you're at in your garage, open up that cap, look underneath, and plug it in. So that's going to be a little bit of a pain. I loved on the new ones that they put it up high, so that you have on the heavyweight models where you can just right on your fairing open up that cap and plug it in. I hate having to get down on my hands and knees in my garage just to plug in a battery tender. So I'm kind of disappointed that they moved it down there instead of keeping it up top, but super nitpicky. So overall, very excited for this new platform. Can't wait to get a lot of miles on one or all the different models. And I'll be happy to provide you some additional insight after I have a chance to do that. But if you've got any questions for me, feel free to leave them below, and look forward to more information on the new 2022 Chief as soon as they start showing up in the showrooms and I have a chance to really go out and put some more miles on them. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.